world's most successful inventors, Henry Ford once said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." Today's Grow in the Dark episode features a well-known individual who didn't let darkness overpower her light. I want to encourage you to remain determined to defeat your failures. Marriage falling apart, no job, single parent, poor. These were not the dreams J.K. Rowling set out for herself, but it's what happened early on in her life. But with her determination and persistence, she went on to become the world-renowned author of the best-selling Harry Potter series, and she was able to obtain a mountain of fortune that some of us can only dream of having. J.K. Rowling, award-winning author, has expressed that her teen years were unhappy and unstable. Her mother battled multiple sclerosis while raising her, and she had a rocky and unsettling relationship with her father. This uneasy childhood inspired the development of the fictional character Hermione in her best-selling Harry Potter series. Hermione, a quick-witted character, always eager to help, was much like J.K. Rowling as a child. Rowling has stated that Hermione resembles herself as a young girl, with her insecurity and fear of failure. Failing to get accepted into a well-recognized school in her country, J.K. did go to college and managed to graduate while doing very little. She spent most of her time reading. While she was on a 4-hour train trip, the idea for a story about a young boy attending wizard school began to take shape. Rowling started writing away, keeping the writing a secret from her loved ones. That same year, after a long and hard battle with the disease that crippled her, Rowling's dear mother died. Tough, the light was flickering. Darkness was taking over. You see, darkness can be overpowering. Yet J.K.'s mother's death influenced her to write even more. Rowling used this devastating time to write for her healing. Her own feelings of loss were written to reflect and detail Harry's feelings of loss in the first Harry Potter book. Instead of letting this stop her, you see, J.K. used this harsh reality as therapy. She made it purposeful. J.K. in those moments was growing in the dark. She was making light out of a dark situation and in turn mounting her meaning for her life. Later on, Rowling switched careers, moved to a new city, found a new boyfriend who became her husband, suffered a miscarriage, had a new baby, endured domestic abuse from her new husband, moved again, but she still kept writing. 3 chapters already done. 7 years after graduating from college, here was J.K. Rowling seeing herself as a failure. In an interview saying, "I was the biggest failure I knew." She had no job, no support system, and she was using welfare benefits to help her survive. J.K.'s light was nearly out. During this point in her life, Rowling was diagnosed with clinical depression. She even contemplated suicide. Tough, the light fading, darkness was really winning. J.K.'s illness inspired the soul-sucking creatures in her 3rd book, known as the Dementors. Rowling signed up for a teacher training course. With her baby nearby, she wrote in nearby cafes. In 1995, she finished her manuscript for her first book in the highly popular series, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. J.K.'s dying light had started to come back to life. One day, a book reviewer read 3 chapters and loved it. The Christopher Little Literary Agency agreed to represent Rowling as a book agent. Their job was to help her seek a publisher. The light brightening. But 12 submissions to 12 different publishing houses, all rejected. J.K. had failed again, her glow dimming again. A year later, however, she was finally approved by the editor Barry Cunningham from Bloomsbury, a publishing house in London. Bloomsbury chairman's 8-year-old daughter helped influence the decision. This little girl, Alice New, was given the first chapter to review by her father. After reading the first chapter, she desperately wanted to read the next. See, it goes to show you, we never know who will be the spark to our growing or our dying flame. Bloomsbury agreed to publish the book, but Cunningham made one stiff warning and piece of advice to Rowling. He advised Rowling to get a day job because he felt that she had little chance of making money in selling children's books. In 1977, Rowling received a grant from the Scottish Arts Council, which helped her continue writing. The light, dim, but still any glow is better than no glow. After a few months of the initial print run of 1,000 copies by Bloomsbury, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was already winning awards. In 1998, an auction was held for the rights to publish Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The highly popular publisher, Scholastic, won the auction for just $105,000 worth of copies. In October of the year 1998, Scholastic published Philosopher's Stone in the US under the title of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, with each predecessor garnering more and more worldwide notoriety, acclaim, and awards to add to her portfolio. The fourth book in the series, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, released on the 8th of July in the year 2000. It broke sales records in the US and the UK. Book release after book release, sales records were broken over and over consecutively, each time thereafter, beating the previously released book's first-day sales. Amid a steady and dedicated fan base, film adaptations were formed and proved very profitable. Harry Potter has thus become a global brand worth around $15 billion, if not more. Harry Potter made J.K. Rowling wealthy and accomplished. Rowling was now glowing stronger. Her light was hot and bright. She had become one of the wealthiest and most highly paid actresses in the entire world. She even remarried and gave birth to a son. Rowling continued writing. She often gave back to charities that related to her failures, such as poverty and social inequality organizations, children, one-parent families, multiple sclerosis research institutions, and organizations encouraging children to read as she loved to do when attending school and college. This was a way for Rowling to get revenge on her own failure. This is what it means to grow strong. The true meaning of growing in the dark. Failures will come in life. It's part of life's core. It's the foundation of our journey towards greatness. I know it sucks and it hurts badly. The moment when our light is barely lit, when obstacle after obstacle is swung at it like a sweltering blanket. It sweeps over, it breaks you down. Have you ever seen a candle wavering in a darkened room? This is how it feels like. You're flickering, fighting to stay strong. But even though the light is dim, you can't let that light out. You can't quit. Never give up. Glow up. Use every bit of that burning desire to start a new spark. Let those sparks light the way, like a flashlight on a dark and scary road. Let those sparks light and influence your path and destiny. Because we all have a destiny. We all have a purpose. So keep traveling on. I bet you that unforeseen sunlight will soon peek through eventually. You don't have to know when, but I guarantee it will happen. Just like the sweet 8-year-old unexpected spark plug who influenced JK's fruitful writing career. This sunlight will help your journey toward whatever greatness you're destined for in this world. Then, recharge your batteries. Energize yourself. Let the new light guide your path to greatness. What if JK would have stopped writing when her mother died? Or when she lost her job? What if she gave up? She wouldn't have gotten the chance to be the well-respected and successful author she was destined to be, the one we all know about. Looking back and reflecting, JK described her failure as liberating and allowing her to focus on writing. Liberation is freedom. So JK took her obstructive failures and turned them upside down. Her failure turned into her liberation. She was damaged, but not beyond repair. She was sad, but her heat was still functioning. She was hurt, but she wasn't done. Her inner drive was still intact. She had reached a breaking point, but her point in life was hardly broken. She wasn't broken. That's how you have to think, my friend. When you're traveling along in the dark, curvy tunnels make their way onto your journey toward your intended prominence. Sometimes it does not stop there. The darkness can be a catalyst to a whirlwind of other problems. You may be blinded by the big tree ahead. Bam! You bump into it, causing even more damages. This is when despair kicks in for most of us, just as it did for JK, when her issues continued to pile up, one bad thing after the next. At this moment, it feels like a never-ending battle. It feels like there is no end. But please, don't let that stop you. Crawl if you have to. Keep your eye on that prize and continue to trek forward, fearlessly. Don't let the darkness win. Don't stop and don't stay down. Stand after a while of grieving and start trying to walk again when you find it in you. Walk a little faster. Build upon that inner drive, that soul motor, and run a little bit when able. Work harder than ever. Forward progress, no backtracking. You will fly soon. Wouldn't it be nice if we were able to obtain a wizard like the ones in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series? These wizards could conjure up a potion that would magically take away each failure that we come across on our path. That would be nice. But well, that's a fantasy. This here is reality, and failure is the inevitable detour on your path to success. There's no way around it. No potions, no wizards, no tears can stop it. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the dark tunnel moment on your path to greatness right now at this very moment, or even if you're not at that point yet, you know it will come. I encourage you to keep that light flickering and find that inner glow, that inner drive. Keep pushing, moving forward. Just like J.K. Rowling did in the face of her many failures, you are built to break the position of the breaking point. You are destined to beat these failures. Be determined. Make your failures your liberation. You will grow in the midst of your darkness.